Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second part of our video lesson, Motivating Students. I'm Vanusa Palacio, and it's such a pleasure to have you all back here. Well, in this second part, we'll be talking about the concept of motivation. We will be describing motivation, which is, as you will see, not an easy task to do. Well, the word motivation comes from the Latin verb movere, which means to move. What moves a person to make certain choices, to engage in action, to expend effort and persist in action, these are basic questions that lie at the heart of motivation theory and research. However, these simple questions have generated a lot of theory, debate, discussion, and disagreements among scholars. And in a way, these questions spawned numerous theoretical models encompassing different variables and different understandings of the meaning of motivation, and produced very few straightforward answers. Well, while intuitively we may know and understand what motivation is, there seems to be very little agreement, consensus, and its conceptual range in terms of scholars, okay? In fact, according to Walker and Simons, there was a point when the American Psychological Association considered replacing the word motivation as a search term because as a concept, it had too much meaning and therefore it was not very useful. So as you can see, describing motivation is a very tough task. What has prevented a consensus in our understanding of motivation then? Perhaps we can draw an analogy here. There is a very famous Indian fable in which blind men encounter an elephant, and each of the men touches a different part of the animal. One touches the tusk, the other touches the tail, the other the ear, and so on and so forth. And they, all of them, end up with a very different mental representation of the animal. If we compare it to motivation, we can say that researchers are inevitably selective in their focus, since it seems impossible to capture the whole picture. So researchers, they focus on a specific aspect of motivation and study it or analyze it, but they fail to analyze the whole scenario. Therefore, let us state as a preliminary that no existing motivation theory to date has managed or even attempted to offer a comprehensive and intuitive account of all the main types of possible motives, and it may well be the case that devising an integrative super theory of motivation will always remain an unrealistic desire. After all, it is motivation theories intend to explain nothing less than why humans think and act the way they do. And it's very, very doubtful that the complexity of this issue can be accounted for or summarized in a single theory. Okay? Well, however, the only thing about motivation most researchers would agree on is, by definition, that it concerns the direction and magnitude of human behavior. That is, it encompasses the choice of an action, in other words, why people decide to do something, the persistence with it, how long they are willing to sustain the activity, and the effort expended on it, or how hard they are going to pursue it. looking back on our Moby Dick story, the story we mentioned in our introductory part, Ahab the captain chose to pursue and kill the whale. This was his choice of action. And he persisted with it through the years, right? Through all the obstacles, he never gave up. And the effort he expended on it was building the ship, organizing the crew, and also the efforts that his crew expended on it should be included in this part as well. So all of these make up Ahab's motivation to kill the whale. All right, but what comes first, or which comes first, the action or motivation? Well, researchers have also paid selective attention to different stages of the motivational process, right? With many focusing on the initial motivational phase of choosing and engaging in action, or on the subsequent effects of actions and experiences of motivation. This division of attention reflects a theory of debate within the educational field as to whether motivation is primarily a cause or an effect of learning, with the general consensus that it has a cyclical relationship with learning. So this, for example, can be theorized in terms of positive cycles: high motivation, high achievement, high motivation, or negative cycles: low motivation, low achievement, low motivation. Okay. Well, however, most people's experiences in real life is rather more complex than simply perceiving cause and effect, right? Motivation, in a way, involves a very complex mental process. And this mental process encompasses the following steps: initial planning, goal setting, intention formation, task generation, action implementation, and outcome evaluation. So for us to be motivated to do something and to do something, first we need to plan it. We need to set specific goals and objectives. We form our intention on how we are going to achieve that specific objective. We start thinking of the actions we are going to implement in order to achieve that specific objective. We implement those actions, and we ultimately evaluate the results of those actions after we've done them. Okay? So all of these are steps in the motivational process. Okay? Well, as you could see, describing motivation is not an easy task because motivation is a very complex concept. However, we can go about some aspects of motivation and start having a clearer understanding of what motivation entails. In terms of our students, it's important to understand what motivation is, so we can identify some aspects of it, and we can work on these aspects, okay? Well, this is the end of the second part of our video lesson, Motivating Students. In our next part, we'll be talking about some theories of motivation, okay? So see you there.